It was rain unlike anything we've ever seen before. A deluge that will go down in the record books as Auckland's wettest day.
Torrential rain continues to cause chaos with major flooding and widespread damage.
Auckland is under its third state of emergency this year due to severe
unprecedented rain has also turned Tamaki Makaurau into slips.
Roads turning to rivers and motorways looking more like waterways as Aucklanders battle the wetter than usual commute.
A city hit hard by unprecedented rain and flooding. So how does it best prepare for the next deluge and best protect itself?
Urban design experts say Auckland's catastrophic flooding is a wake-up call and we must plan our cities better to avoid such widespread damage. Science shows the frequency of extreme weather events will increase as the planet warms. But with proper planning, we can be better prepared.
But is converting half of the land at the Takapuna Golf Club into a floodwater catchment the right answer?
So currently the golf course can hold about 60 million litres of water, but if this project went ahead and was built the way it's currently planned, it would hold over 500 million litres of water, so pretty significantly different.
It's not about golfing, it's about flooding and protection of people's lives and property.
But not everyone agrees.
Why didn't you involve us? No one's come to talk to us. Why does it seem that you want to destroy the golf course?
Kia ora, I'm Amanda Gillies and on The Detail today, I'm at the Takapuna Golf Club, a popular and public 18-hole course on Auckland's North Shore. The Auckland Council wants to convert 20 hectares into a floodwater catchment to help reduce future flooding in the area. But the golf club only found out during lease negotiations and isn't happy.
Disbelief, we were just in shock. It was like being hit with a blunt instrument, really.
That's Stephen Dowd from the golf club. More from him in a moment. But first, the proposed plan. The council wants to use land on the almost century-old course to capture around 550,000 litres of water during an intense weather event, which would effectively close the club or halve it at the very least. The Waido catchment was one of the most severely flooded areas during the Auckland anniversary floods 2 years ago, and 2 lives were lost there.
More details have emerged about the tragic circumstances that led to the death of a man during the Auckland floods. 34-year-old Daniel Miller was checking on those swept up in the floods when he fell into a manhole.
At least 3 people have died following torrential downpours. More than 100 people have been rescued from flooded cars and homes.
So since the devastating floods that we experienced in 2023, this catchment was absolutely devastated by the floods. We had loss of lives, many properties, some were written off, hundreds of businesses destroyed. We had to look at ways we can mitigate the flooding, and we've been looking at all sorts of options. This catchment particularly has a lot of issues in draining the water away.
That's Tom Mansell, the council's head of sustainable partnerships, who joined me at the golf course.
This area in A.F. Thomas, the Takapuna Golf Course, is an area which we looked at for potential storage of water to take the flooding away from the streets and houses and store it here.
And then it would be slowly released back into the stream. If green-lit, the project will be a major undertaking on site.
Roughly, we have to take quite significant amounts of fill, dig right down and create sort of a storage wetland. And with that fill, we can build up higher ground as well. So there'll be usable areas which will not get flooded. So it's further down towards Wairau Road is where that's the lowest point, is where we will start. We're proposing to look at that detention, and that's holding that water in a natural detention wetland.
You described it for me like similar to a bath. Talk me through that and how that works.
So back many, many years ago, Lake Pupuki erupted and it disrupted the outlet of the flow of this catchment. And now it's very constrained. So one is thinking of Wairau Valley as Big Bath, and the bath plug in the pipe, the outlet pipe, is very narrow. So what we've got to do is hold water, and that outlet can only take water at a certain amount of water. So with utilising storage, we release it slowly in time, so it reduces flooding. on the surrounding properties.
So for surrounding properties, how many houses will this protect? Who will benefit from this?
So there's 3 rest homes, there's schools, there's residential properties. There's over 200 residential properties will have significant reduction in flooding. This also enables stage 2 and 3, which stage 2 is opening up, that bath plug analogy, opening up that pipe and creating a linear sort of floodplain reserve moving down towards the outlet. So it's hundreds of properties ultimately, and this, with the increasing weather events, we know rainfall is increasing, going to have more frequent storms. So this is not a problem that's going to go away, and we have to have quite big infrastructure solutions.
Because if you don't do this, what's the worst case scenario?
People will continue to get flooded. Insurance, residential properties won't be insured, or very high premiums. Also, there's disruption of main roads, the supermarket and the businesses as well. So viability of this catchment of Wairau, we need to do something to mitigate that, to make it continue on.
Tom isn't a golfer, but as we sit on a park bench beneath the golf club rooms, he can't help but admire the setting and appreciate just how busy it is.
This has a long history, this golf course as well. So, we are just stuck in a rock and a hard place. Our priority is protecting lives and homes. And we will work with the golfing community to try and get some solution that might be with the remaining land. What is that used for? Can it be a 9-hole, for example, or what other recreational use can we have? So I can fully understand the frustration, the anger of the golfers. But we, as a council, have to protect lives and property.
And that is the priority.
That has to be the priority for us.
While we were chatting, Stephen Dowd from the golf club was taking civil engineers around the course to find an alternative plan which saves all 18 holes.
We think we can do it. We've got a team working on it now, and we're very confident. We had I took them around the golf course yesterday. We looked at my ideas. We're working on that now, and we're really confident that we can come up with something that's workable for both parties.
And a sneak preview of your idea?
We'd like to hold water on the course by building a bigger bund and looking at taking less earth away from the golf course. The council plan has them basically dropping the level 2 metres on that half of the golf course to hold the water. We believe we can do that by taking less out over a wider area and building a bund and having the water directly come onto the golf course. And as it floods directly onto the golf course and stopping the amount of water that is going directly into the Wairau Creek. So we think we've got a pretty good plan, and we'd like to show it to the council.
He says A.F. Thomas Park, on which the 18-hole public course stands, attracts about 500 visitors a day, about 200,000 each year.
Kia ora guys, we're here today at Takapuna Golf Course on the North Shore in Auckland. Going to do 18 holes for you, stroke play. The goal here today is to break par.
It's also been a training ground for countless Kiwi golfing greats, including Dame Lydia Ko and Ryan Fox, and is widely considered an accessible gateway course for beginners and families wanting to enter the sport.
We're a golf course, we're not a golf club, so we only have 20 members. Most of the people that play there are just casuals. It's cheap, very cheap. They begin their golf journey here. They might come to the range and they start playing golf. Working class, women, men, young, old, a lot of people enjoy playing here, and you don't have to be a member of a golf club. So a lot of people get off by paying massive golf club fees. We just charge $40 or $45 a round, and they can play as much as they like. And generally, sometimes when they get the golf bug, they go on and join other clubs. So we serve as quite a feeder course for a lot of the clubs in the Auckland area.
Because when we arrived, it was just after midday. The car park was full. The course was incredibly busy. Is that the norm? Are you packed all the time?
That is the norm now. We would get height of summer. We're getting up to 400 people a day. That's like playing from daylight to dusk, basically. And then you'd get another 200 odd people visiting the driving range. Yeah.
The council says...
that's big numbers.
It's big numbers, but the council says it could potentially be a 9-hole course if they go ahead with their proposal. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, it's better than nothing, but we believe it can be maintained as an 18. A lot of golfers like playing the 18 holes.
18th hole here. Just want to hit a good drive, so we're going to go driver again. Well, good par from there regardless. Good round. Thanks, guys. Let's take Takapuna Golf Course.
How many greats have you had there over the years, Stephen?
Oh, well, Lydia Ko has played there.
Lydia Ko has gone from unknown to prodigy, from prodigy to winner, winner to champion, champion to star, star to legend.
Yeah, we've had a few. We've had the Pro-Am there 5 or 6 years ago with the best New Zealand golfers playing there. So a lot of young golfers would have started there. I think Ryan Fox even played or practiced at the driving range or had lessons there. Yeah.
Ryan Fox is a Kiwi golfing legend. A pro for over 10 years, he's showing no signs of slowing down.
When I was talking to golfers who were there on the course playing, they said this is an important part of their life, sort of both mentally and physically.
Yes, definitely. Golf, like some people just see it as, you're playing golf, but actually you're out there walking, getting exercise, up there with nature. In the sunshine, the rain, it's great exercise for a lot of people, and we do see regulars that come back all the time and play.
What does golf contribute to our economy?
Well, they're talking about, millions of dollars. People come here to play golf, especially in the Auckland region. They start here, and then they go and do big golf tours through the country. Golf is very, very, very popular. So, yes, there is a lot of tourism aspect.
What's your message to the council, Stephen?
We want to work with the council. From our point of view, they've given someone a brief to come and get this project going. How can we achieve the flood detention? And they've just looked at the land and said, this is what we can do without considering the current user of the land. Can we maintain that use? We just want to work with the council through that process. We understand what they're trying to do. We're in favour of that. The flood affects everybody. And we would really like to be part of the process and hopefully find a solution that suits everybody.
Were you affected at all during the anniversary flooding at all, Stephen?
We were out of action for 3 days, I think, while we cleaned up. We just had a lot of debris to pick up, and there was a slip on the motorway which prevented the water exiting the course. So the rainfall comes onto the course, sits there. Once the levels go down in the Wairau Creek, then the water exits the course. That's the way it works, and it normally works really, really well. I've been there 30 years, and this is the only time I've seen it get that bad.
The council says this is about protecting lives and protecting homes. What do you say to that?
We're all in favour of that. We're very, very aware of dangers, and we're all in favour of protecting lives and homes.
The proposal is part of the council's Making Space for Water program and is co-funded by the government. It follows 3 previous projects approved to improve flood resilience in areas hit hard by the Auckland anniversary floods. 2 are in Mangere and the other is in Henderson. So, if the Takapuna project goes ahead, how long will it take and how much will it cost?
What we are planning to do now, we're just submitting to council for a business case. Then we're going to work with the community, work with local boards, the golfing community, user groups, and to do full consultation. And with the design, so we call it prelim and detailed design, it will be probably a 1.5 to 2 year period before we fully consult and design the option we're happy with and the community are happy with. Then construction will be probably around 2 years on top of that.
And a cost?
So the costings, we are looking for the stage 1, we're in the tens of millions of dollars. It is significant investment, and that's why the government, this is part of storm recovery funding.
But will this impact rates for local people here?
The government's paying 62 cents in the dollar in for stage 1, and ratepayers are paying the 38 cents. So yes, it is utilising ratepayers funding for that part of it.
The council and government has already spent a fortune buying out Category 3 flood-affected homes in the area.
It has been hundreds of millions of dollars. We've had over 1,000, across the Auckland region, we've had over 1,000 houses that had to be bought out, and we're in the process now of negotiating with that. That was higher than expected, but we've got to consider the buyout. We only probably took 6% of the houses that were actually, there's another 94% that are got at risk to flooding. So yes, the buyout is good for the individual property owners, but we call this the blue-green network projects. The advantage with these projects is they benefit a lot more houses, not just the individual houses we buy, because it takes the flooding risk away.
Would it increase property value for those in the area by having this here?
There is that possibility, having, especially when we're looking at the floodplains and linear reserves through urban areas as quality of life. We put walkways through that. So yes, there is that potential of increased property values, especially with increased amenity, with the green spacing.
Because I know that's something that we look at when buying a house now is flood risk, isn't it?
And it's becoming people are becoming more and more aware of the flood risk, where the floodplains are, in their properties, and there's becoming more of an issue. We had over 20,000 houses in the floodplain, or well over that. Not all of them have issues, but the lower ones certainly did.
North Shore Councillor Richard Hills, who played golf on the course as a youngster, backs the new proposal. He was hands-on during the flooding 2 years ago.
It would help reduce the velocity, it would help reduce the amount of water heading down the catchment at once, and it would help hold some of the water until the rain had stopped, I guess, and then it would be released over time. So what people saw at the Pack and Save there, at the businesses, and then all the homes down through Milford and Sunnyside and Totara Vale that were, ruined and unfortunately being bought out at the moment, was sort of 2 or 3 metre high waters. People were climbing on their roofs, piggybacking elderly residents out of retirement villages. Thousands of cars were totaled. What this would help is reducing the flooding in total, but also reducing the speed and harmfulness so people aren't swept away.
He says he understands the community's attachment to the park and the importance of an outdoor area in Waido Valley.
There are and should be opportunities for recreation, including golf and other types of activities at the end of this, but it's important that people know that there'll be several years where the whole place will be out of commission, but also that the whole community needs to have a say on what should be there. And obviously that would be a decision for council and the local board in the future.
What sort of feedback have you had, Richard, both good and bad?
Yeah, so we presented some of this at a large public meeting in December, so very high level, probably about 200 people there. Most of the feedback was, because that was from Milford and the communities that were really badly affected, were how quickly can you do this? Can you do this now? There was a lot of support for action and including the golf course in those types of infrastructure proposals. It's only been the last week or two that I've had only a couple of emails from golfers who are obviously and fairly upset by the prospect of losing the course that they love. It is a very popular course, but obviously some of the people there may not have been as affected as the communities that found out about this in December.
Because it's been a couple of years since those floods. Talk me through the mental toll. Are people still struggling 2 years on?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Obviously, there's a lot of people who are relieved they've been bought out. So I don't think a lot of people, it's not as visible as, say, the horrible slips and stuff we've seen on the West Coast, because, of course, after the rain goes away, no one realised what happened. But in this catchment in the Waido, businesses have been significantly affected, having to spend a lot of money on protection and fixing up their properties. We obviously had Event Finder Stadium, the event centre right on the golf course there that was underwater and had millions of dollars worth of insurance claims on it. If you work down the catchment, you've got houses in Sunnyside and Totara Vale and Milford that are being removed right now. There will be a few hundred homes removed, which will leave sort of scarring on the community. They will see the shock that their neighbours are no longer in that community. And there's an expectation that we use this as an opportunity now to turn, to not only make the area safer, but, bring back some of the blue-green network, take out some of those concrete channels that were put in the 60s and 70s, and make sure that the water can get through this catchment in a much safer way.
Because even environmentally, what are the pros and cons of your plan?
So I guess the pros are the reducing the flooding. That's the biggest one. The people who died in this catchment were swept away on the streets and roads. So it's about reducing the speed and the flooding there. But also over time, we cannot continuously buy up homes. So if there's anything we can do on this grand scale to help reduce the flooding down the catchment over time. And also the issue is we know there's a hazard, we know there's a risk. If we just turn a blind eye to this and pretend we shouldn't do anything about it, we are openly telling those communities that they are in risk for the foreseeable future.
He says change is hard and this location decision hasn't been easy.
Obviously, I've asked the team, what are the other options? Are there other things you can do here? What about other current sports fields? But they say that the amount of water, and you can look back at those pictures and videos from that night, that comes through this catchment, largely because of the eruption of Lake Pupuki, but let's not get too technical. All of the water sort of turns a corner and sends it right down through the Wairoa Valley, through all of that economic light industrial area, and then through all the homes through Sunnynut, Tutra Vale and Milford. So no one ever wants to lose something or recreational, whether it's golf or football or basketball. There's so many people who enjoy that, but we have to look at what is the best way to reduce the risk, reduce the flooding risk. And the issue is we know it's a problem, and if we just turn a blind eye to it, we are sort of denying the climate we're living in and denying those people and communities hope downstream.
An open day was held at the weekend to discuss all options, while the golf club has started a petition to retain the 18-hole course.
This isn't the first time that the course has come under pressure. There was a local body election back in 1965. The course used to be the North Shore Golf Course, and the motorway came through basically Smales Farm, and they decided they'd be better off moving up to Albany. So they moved up there, sold the course to the council. It was mooted then that a regional centre be put on the course. Thomas, who the course is named after, the A.F. Thomas Park, stood for mayor at the time, and that was part of the campaign, was to save the golf course. So it's just not new to us. There's a lot of local history at the golf course with concerned residents and locals that want to keep it as a golf course. There's a 100-year history there.
That's all for today. The Detail is a newsroom production supported by RNZ and New Zealand On Air. Thank you to Tom Mansell, Richard Hills and Stephen Dowd. This episode was produced by Gwen McClure and engineered by Alex Harmer. I'm Amanda Gillies. Mā te wā.